and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin. This is my co-host Teddy. I've just been out for a walk, and as I was walking, I was thinking about the rise now that we're seeing of these high refresh rate 4K monitors. I'm sure you've seen all the rumors talking about them. I'm going to Computex, actually fly out this Saturday, and I'm sure we're going to see 4K 144 hertz type monitors, maybe even higher than that, 165 hertz and things like that around Computex. My issue with it is I've been using a 4K monitor now for about 2 years as my primary monitor. This is mainly because I do a lot of productivity stuff, you know, the video editing, photo editing stuff. So I like the screen real estate that you get with a 4K monitor, but also the fact that when I do my benchmarking, I do it at 4K with the GPU stuff anyway. I'll run some tests at 4K, and it's just handy having a 4K monitor. I know you can get around it, but it's just handy to just be able to go in the settings, select 4K, run the benchmark, and be done with it as far as the game testing goes. So there's that, and also the fact that I just like having a 4K monitor. But it is 60 hertz, my AOC monitor. Now that we're seeing that these high refresh rate monitors coming out, it's really making me beg the question of who are these actually for? So take someone like me. I like to just call myself an enthusiast. I run an MSI Gaming X GTX 1080 Ti, which is a very powerful GPU. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. It's very, very powerful. But even with my 1080 Ti, most of the games I play, you know, the AAA title ones, when new games come out, take Far Cry 5, for example, as a relatively new game that's come out. When I was playing through that game, I was playing at 1440p on Ultra, and the 1080 Ti was just fine. But if I tried to do 4K Ultra, it just wasn't happening. You know, FPS would drop under 60, and it didn't look very good to me. Now, people will always argue, well, Kevin, you know, you're running the games at Ultra, you know, it's pointless, or you can drop them down to very high, or, yeah, I understand that, but a lot of times with certain games, you won't notice enough of a difference, you know, even dropping it just down by 1 to like very high or something, that will actually bring the FPS up over 60. Oftentimes, it's still far below it. You'd have to drop the settings right down to something like medium in order, or, you know, massively drop the filters off or something like that, which is its own debate. But even then, a lot of times, you'll only just be able to get the FPS over 60 in these high requirement games. Obviously, things like Counter-Strike or League of Legends or even Rainbow Six Siege, lower requirement games, you can get away with it, but on the high requirement games, you just simply cannot, even with a 1080 Ti. Now, people will also say, well, that's your own fault because most people that run 4K displays run multiple high-end graphics cards in order to power it. And that's true, and that was also the case in the past as well. But think, like, just to buy a single 1080 Ti right now, I mean, you guys know what the prices are. That's a lot of money. So to have to buy 2 of them, you know, 2 1080 Ti's will be just so much money. Just to play games at 4K Ultra 60 is just completely overkill. You know, you also have to remember that very few people already play at 4K 60 hertz. You know, in the Steam surveys, it's like 1%, or maybe not even that. It's a very, very small amount of people. Way, way, way more people play at 1080p. And even a lot more people play at like 1440p by comparison to 4K. So you're talking about a very small amount of people who are actually currently running 4K displays, and then you expect them to go up to, which are probably have a hard time already playing the games at 4K 60 hertz, and then you're expecting them to go up to a higher refresh rate monitor and have the GPU horsepower to back it up. I see it like this. When we first got the 4K monitors, when they first came out a few years ago, well, not when they first came out, but you know, when they started to become popular, they became cheaper, people were actually able to afford them, just your average enthusiast and things like that. They trying to play at 4K 60 hertz with things like, at the time, I remember like 780 Ti's, even, you know, 980 Ti's and 980s there was just not much of a chance you could do it on a single GPU. Definitely with 780 Ti's. There was just no way. You had to do, double, sometimes triple SLI to actually get playable frame rates. And everyone kind of expected that. But as the prices have come down, you also notice that more and more people are trying to get into 4K gaming. But just like back then, the GPU horsepower just is only it's barely caught up enough right now with like a 1080 Ti that you can use a single GPU and play games at 4K on high settings, high requirement games. It's like barely there right now, not even in plenty of titles out there. And then they're going to make it so it's a high refresh rate as well, which means obviously you're going to need even more GPU horsepower to take advantage of that, because you need to get the frames up in order to get all the smoothness and stuff like that, or else what is really the point? And that's what I mean. It just seems funny to me that the companies are releasing, it's not really their fault. 4K, it's just the progression of technology. We knew this was going to happen eventually, but 4K high refresh rate monitors, unless you're playing low requirement games, and there's going to be plenty of people out there that just play Siege or games like that, which most people that play them competitively wouldn't be playing at 4K, just letting you know. But there's going to be people like even me, for example, that would like playing a game like Rainbow Six Siege at 4K, at a high refresh rate, 4K high refresh rate. But even then, it's just not ideal. There's going to be very few games, like low requirement games, even if you have high power graphics cards, graphics card or graphics cards, it's just not really there. And that's basically the crux of it right now. I just think that the GPUs just aren't quite there yet. They're just really not. The 4K high refresh rate monitors are going to be cool, that's for sure, and I will be checking them out. But to power them, it's going to take way too much. Obviously, they're going to be made just for, the ultra enthusiasts. But even then, guys running a 1080 Ti right now, or even two of them, are only probably barely going to be enough to power them in like medium requirement games. And in higher requirement games, there's just no chance of it happening. So I feel like it's quite a... it's not a waste of technology, because it's still cool, and in the future we will be able to take advantage of it. But I feel, compared to where the average gamer is right now in terms of the monitor they use, maybe the graphics card they use, this is just so far ahead. It's just so far ahead that even for the ultra enthusiasts, people like me, it's just too far. And we're not going to be able to take advantage of them, which is really going to hamper the fact of like who's actually going to buy them. Aside from the fact that you'll be able to like move around in windows and stuff, do all your casual stuff, and it'll look nice and smooth. Aside from that, it's like we're really not going to be able to take that much of an advantage of it at this stage. And probably even with the next generation of graphics cards, the very highest end NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards of the next generation, they probably still won't even be able to. It'll be the generation after that. So we're going to be waiting a while, and that's just my opinion on it. So I just see it as it's just too far ahead right now, and I don't know anyone personally that would invest in one, just for the fact that even me myself, I don't think I would, for the fact that I can't even game right now at 4K 60 Hz and a lot of games out there with a 1080 Ti. So why would I go up to a high refresh rate when I can barely do it at 60 Hz? Why would I go up to 144 Hz? But that is just my opinion, guys. This is an unscripted video. It's just letting you guys know what I was thinking about. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think I'm completely wrong about this? 4K high refresh rate monitor is going to be the new big thing, and you're very excited for it, and it's going to be awesome, and the new generation of GPUs, or I just need to stop whining about GPU power right now? Or do you think I'm on the right track? Do you think they've gone sort of way too far ahead from everyone else right now, and it's you know, most people, the vast majority of people won't be able to take advantage of 4K high refresh rate monitors because they can barely take advantage of 4K 60Hz monitors right now for gaming. I'd really like to know. Now, I thank you all for watching this video. Please subscribe to Tech Showdown if you haven't already, and like the video. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.